So this is our first unit test, and I'm put together a series of videos to go over each of the questions in the practice test. Our first question talks about these two different quadrilaterals, EFGH, ABCD. They are scale copies of each other. It tells us that, and we have to select all of the true statements. Okay, all means there could be one or there could be more than sure, so we should check all of them. So the first one we have is segment EF being compared to AB, and it says that they are 2.5 times as long. Well, AB is 2.5 times as long as EF is 2.5 times long as AB. So first of all, we don't have a measurement over here for EF, so we need to figure out what the scale factor is, since we know that they are scale copies. We can do that by comparing these two numbers. They're the only two corresponding parts that both have numbers. So we know that 8, we know that when we go from the original to the scale copy, that we multiply. So that means we have to say to ourselves, 8 times what number equals 20? Now you might know someone, you might be somebody who already knows the answer to that, but if you're not, you would have to figure it out. We know in order to figure that out, we have to divide, because 8 times that variable, we have to do the opposite of that, which would be divide by 8. These two cancel, so I'm left with x equals 20 over 8. It's a fraction. I have to figure out what's the gazinta they share. The gazinta they share is 4, so I would divide both sides by, or both top and bottom, by 4. So 20 divided by 4 is 5. 8 divided by 4 is 2. And if I reduce that even further, that equals 2 1/2. So my question says, is it 2.5 times as long? So the answer is yes, it is. So that means A works. Okay. Now we're looking at CD. Is 2.5 times long as FG. Now these two are not corresponding, so we already know off the bat that we shouldn't even be comparing them, so B does not work. C, the measure of HEF. So now we're looking at an angle, HEF, is 2.5 times the measure of DAB. Well, we know when we scale, the angles don't change. So therefore, this is also incorrect. Now, the length of EH, which is here, is 20 units. So that means the length of this times our scale factor. We know that our scale factor is 2.5. So that means we're taking 10, multiplying it by 2.5, and we're expecting to get 20. So 10 times 2.5 equals, well, 2 times 10 is 20, and 10 times 1/2 is 5. So that's, of course, 25, which is not 20. So therefore, this one is also incorrect. We're looking at the area of EFGH to see if it's 2.5 times the area of ABCD. We've learned that the area, when we scale up, means that it's 2.5 times 2.5, because that's the scale factor. So therefore, it can't just be 2.5 times. So this one also does not work. So our answer tells us that even though they tried to trick us and tell us that we were looking for all of the true statements, that only A is in fact true.